Hello and welcome to episode 2 of The Audacity to Be Human. Meet confidence.
Well, hello, everyone. I pray everything is working. I pray all the sound is working. I pray all the video is working. I want to welcome you to episode 2 of The Audacity to Be Human. I am your host, Mary Haswood Fernandez, and we're talking to our first model, confidence. And everyone has a version of themselves called confidence. It's the woman they see. But there's more to a woman than what they see. She is a person. So we're going to really spend some time with confidence. And one of the things we want to do is make sure we cover some of the topics that led to this room, this conversation. Now, I also invite all my confidence supporters, all my confident versions of yourself to plan on joining us over on Facebook or join us each Monday night for a while at 8 p.m. Now, 8 p.m. is an odd hour for some because they're just coming home from work or some work from home. But it's like working to change your decompressed self to the I'm home, I got everything done, I got a few minutes for myself. So we're going to roll with 8 until we get to level 2 of these conversations. So let's say tonight is about a conversation with confidence. Well, you ready to get started? You ready? I'm ready. Okay. So what happens here is confidence started with a blog that said the how I almost disappeared, or how I was having this personal crisis of dealing with some personal things and professionally wanting to honestly and authentically show up. There was a lot of lessons in that, and the blog was a gift, and all the free gifts, all the access to the free gifts, the blog, and each week there's a gift for you, a downloadable gift. However, we're going to change that because I really want to get in a room with confidence, and I want to make sure that we get to talk about what's going on with you, some of the things you had to face, and some of the things you had to deal with. Is that okay, confidence? Okay, that's okay, Mary. This is so much fun because I really wanted to show one of the inner energy aspects of myself. If I could have a conversation with myself, this is what it would look like. So I definitely like to show up for my guests and make sure I dress up a little bit because I love playing in makeup and I love dressing up and I love putting my best foot forward, especially if you're going to take a few minutes of your time each week to be with us. So we want to get down to a couple of things that was mentioned about how this was started. One was, how do you deal with a personal identity crisis? I love studying people, um, understanding what they're saying, what they're not saying, and what they're asking of me as a business and personal development strategist and coach. And I've seen a lot of roles of individuals, powerful women in leadership positions who tend to have such great responsibility in the eyes of the public. And sometimes that person is not perceived as a person of feelings, a person of all those different roles we have. But when you show up professionally, you basically are showing up professionally and you're not bringing your personal self, because many times you're there to serve your public, you're there to serve your audience. So let's give a case in point. Since we're getting to the conversation, are you ready, confidence? I am too. You ready, Mary? I'm ready, confidence. Okay, so confidence was battling pain and issues of that nature, right? And it was going on so long that she thought, in a minute now, in a minute now, in a minute now, that situation will change. But it may have been confidence, this role model confidence, it may have been her personal battle, but others on the camera, on your favorite morning shows, in different public positions, go through traumatic situations, and yet they show up at work. And what I've noticed with some audiences is that they take the time to address the humanity of mankind among their coworkers. Some have formed some pretty serious coworker bonds. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. Competence, what do you think about that? Well, I love the co-worker bond and a co-worker relationship. So y'all ride with us on this. This is a conversation about confidence with confidence from from a perspective of just being human and understanding that confidence is the woman they see. So those relationships at work, they have rules of engagement, respect, caring, accountability, follow up, follow through, dependability. Whereas if you say you're going to be somewhere, you're going to be there. We even see them standing in the gap for one another, where if one is going through something publicly, where a lot of the women that you see, confidence does not usually share all that she's going through. In some environments, it's just not safe to share that. So I was wondering about that conversation or that mental moment of clarity where confidence just realized she was human. She was coming face to face with her humanity. She was sitting there at the table thinking to herself, confidence, you want to speak for yourself? I am the one who always is bringing the energy, bringing the strategy, bringing the coordination of let's get this project done. We have a start date, we have an end date, and we have some major players on the field, and we want to really respect their time. So get down to work, right? But confidence, reality, her humanity was sitting across the table. Her body was hurting. Her healing that she was expecting was not evident, but her heart believed with all her heart and soul that it was coming forward. So what could confidence do? She had to step back a minute and deal with her pain, deal with her visits, deal with what was dominating her time. What was dominating her time in the public's eye was not doing the videos, the show up on the public screen, but do the back office work. And confidence was really busy doing some serious confidence work. She was producing strategic programs that could bless a lot of businesses. In fact, one of those programs she produced, if she had not ran into her human self, which was with the pain body, with the situation of having to see doctors and having to have surgery when you feel like you're so invincible. There was so much learned during that period. But as she was going through all of that, she just had this little feeling of these emotions that came back. And this is just to cover and to help you come to the stage, come to the room. Come on, give me your opinions. Let me hear from you. Let me know, have you ever ran into yourself in a way that you didn't even recognize who that person was sitting across the table from you, actually sitting in that chair? But if she was sitting across the table, it would be like she was another person. But I tell you what came to reality. A wonderful encourager spoke into the life of confidence and said, if you are in pain, that's your real moment in time. If you did not affirm and take care of that pain, you would be lying to yourself. You would be denying yourself. And sometimes, I don't know whether it's deserve level or if it's just the fact that you realize that you're not invincible in the flesh. In your spirit, you know you are invincible. However, in the flesh, when you're dealing with the real world and people and jobs and assignments and goals and dreams, and your body isn't present and accounted for in the way that you normally see it, you kind of like bump heads with yourself. And you wonder, are you being a hypocrite? You wonder all kinds of things. So that's why confidence was working and really working on some serious things that would bless her clients, bless her world, and bless others, because that's how confidence is. She loves showing up for the job. She loves doing what she's been called to do. And she loves working. When you have an adult family, it's like you have another life that has just emerged with time, creativity, flexibility, and things that you're able to do when you do not have little ones in the house or little ones to be responsible for. And, it's such a joy to have the responsibility of having a family and just enjoying watching them grow and build their lives. And then it is the joy of being able to do the things you would do with that family if you were 100% the self that you knew. Professional women can go through this as well. I was so proud of the newscaster when we're going to talk about different things with confidence. And I want to hear some of the things you want to hear about when it comes to confidence and the audacity to be human, because that's what hit me in the face when confidence couldn't connect to what was going on in the human body. The mind began to respond to what was going on in the human body. Frustration came in the picture, questions, doubts, and I'm going to tell you about some of those questions and doubts. Some of those questions were like this. Is this a turning point in my life where I am supposed to consider retirement? Retirement was nothing I've ever thought about. Is this a time in my life where I'm thinking I should pull back from serving so many people and go sit in a rocking chair and heal this body? I mean, sometimes professionals wonder themselves, is it time for me to step down from my leadership role? Is it time for me to leave this type of work or this type of job or this type of environment? There are times when that happens. So confidence has a whole array of emotions, and all of us have a version of ourselves that is called confidence. When you're at home, it's another fun aspect of yourself, but we're talking about confidence, the woman they see. We're not talking about that woman that's at home and all comfortable with the safety and the love and the cozy things she likes to do when she's feeling well, not feeling well, or feeling overwhelmingly joyful. We're talking about the woman they see. So when confidence body change, there are many times in our lives when our bodies change. There was a time maybe you could march a whole block, maybe 6 blocks, from one end of Main Street down to almost Midtown, but let's say 1/4 of Main Street. And you had the stamina, and you had the posture, and you had the energy, and you had the muscles, and you just did not even consider those things. But what happens when life changes and your body changes? I want to speak to my young people. I was at a senior exercise class, and the seniors were coming out of their class, y'all. And there were a lot of young people that were getting ready to come into their high energy class. And some of them were looking at the senior classmates, men and women, coming out of their low impact exercise room. And some were wondering with impatience, well, what are you doing in there? Well, why are you here? And there was some kind and some were not kind. Because once you keep living, you get to live some more and experience some more and some more. So I think that's called ageism. But one day that person will be you. If you get the God's blessing to be that next aspect of yourself. So when we're sitting down face to face with ourselves and we see these dramatic changes and we're not quite used to them, we tend to almost feel bad. It's not a pity party. It's coming to grips with there's a change going on and I am going to adapt, pivot, do whatever I have to do to get through it. Or if it's a type of change where you don't have all of your capabilities, your mobility, you create and put energy into the other aspect of you that does. Take, for instance, confidence right now. Confidence feel like, oh my goodness, feel like, whew, thank you, God, for everything I ever went through. Thank you, God, for every pain I felt. Thank you for the lesson of letting me know how blessed I was in health, in strength, in youth, in different careers. Now I consider myself in one of my 3rd stages of life where I still have great mobility and I have lesser capability, but I have power and knowledge and wisdom and creativity. And now the body is different from the mind, but that doesn't stop you. There was a great movie I just saw the other day, and it was a role model of a powerful leader, a powerful woman in her industry. And the price she paid for the life and the career she chose was quite heavy. Yet, in all aspects, when we don't compare ourselves, she lived a powerful, successful life. But when she came face to face with herself and the obstacles that rise up, whether it be from other people's opinions, other people's expectations of you, you go to that quiet place in your mind and you just question maybe yourself. So someone spoke life into her. Someone reminded her of her fire, her power, her energy, and her gifting. And out of not nowhere, but out of the excitement of just being aware that you are blessed to have choices and still can move forward. You can even change directions for your life, your career. When you come to the realization that you're the boss of you, and that when you show up in different environments or you take on different jobs and careers, you want to get in there, learn that environment, bring your best, but you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. That's already an invitation to chaos and craziness. How many have seen that happen? And then we don't even want to go into that, but I do want to have some discussions with you about some of your experiences. So confidence came face to face with her humanity, and humility, and revelation that you still got options, you still got choices, you still have opportunities. And so onward, confidence, with all your new changes and all your new ways and all your new this and that. Okay. So, how are you doing in your life? I mean, how do people see you? Because sometimes they treat you as they see you. Sometimes people see you in such a way that they think you are that you're not, like unapproachable. They think they can't walk up and just talk to you. I don't think that's about you. I don't really think that's about you. I think that's about them. Now the sunshine is coming in a little harsh, so it's making dots on my face. I don't really mind the dots, but I think I have to make a little change. So just give me a minute here to change that. Let's see if the light will stay the same. Well, the light is pretty cool, even more comfortable and more soothing. So, how are you when it comes to how people see you? Let's talk about being who you need to be when you're on certain jobs. When I was younger, a younger mom, and I had to go to a driving class because that was a blessing, that was a penalty as an option for choices one of my children had made. And so if they had to go to class, I had to go to class. So the teacher was so awesome. He was full of good information. And he was talking about how when he is on the job, he's not supposed to be your best friend. He is not supposed to be your mama, your friend, your family member. He was there to correct you and to tell you the consequences of your actions. And then your next step to deal with that. As he taught the class, you could see a whole different aspect of his personality. He cared about the students. He cared about the attendees. He shared the seriousness of knowing the information that was in the class. And yet we were in an environment that was a penalty, which was a blessing for a consequence of choices made and actions taken. So when wonderful, phenomenal people are on the job and they're truly being professional, they show up in uniform, be it in how they work with people or how they come across. In fact, let's take it to another professional environment. And I really want to hear your input. I would really love to hear your stories about the woman they see and your audacity to be human and to speak up. Let's talk about confidence speaking up. One of my amazing mentors saw that I was having difficulty with an immediate supervisor. And she noticed how that person was communicating with me. They were stepping over lines of respect, they were stepping over lines of authority, they were being a little bit more personal attack than professional attack, a professional correction. And the advice given to me was, you have the right to have a conversation with that person. Point of order. And I said, whoa, in my mind, how cool is that? But in the antagonistic environment that I was in, going to God, He said, you got this because I got you. Your job is to get the job done, get through that, and get on to the next thing. It wasn't my job to change that person or to start an argument with that person or to battle that person or to, because in scripture, I believe they say if you correct a fool gets foolisher. But if you correct a wise man, they'll take it to heart and learn from it. Do you agree? Agree, confidence? I agree. Okay. So the audacity to be human, we're going to continue on and we're going to give audacity permission. We're going to give her permission to fully be herself, to fully speak up when she is in situations that demand that she speak up. We're going to give confidence, the woman they see, permission to pick up the phone and call your awesome and amazing mentees or leaders and express yourself. How you are received is not on you. It is on the individual that you respected and went to, and then from there you know what to do. You know how to proceed. So confidence, we talked about today the reality that confidence came face to face with herself, her humanity, her reality, her body, her changes, and her situations that she had to deal with, right? And because she did deal with them, she is better on the other side. Even the painful things she went through, she is smarter on the other side. She is freer on the other side of the lessons learned. So as we move forward, we're going to make some changes. There's a free gift with every episode that you listen to, and at least express a like or let me know you're there. When you go for the free gift, if you have any issue, just let me know, okay? And then we're going to do the private Audacity Club. The Audacity Club is for interactive conversations, encouraging one another, sharing our stories, supporting each other in several areas, including your work. Maybe you have some work questions, and we have professionals in the group, and you could ask that question to a like-minded person. But you can't do that until you build a relationship of trust. So that is why we're going to grow together over in the Audacity Club. If you're interested in that, do let me know. Right now, the Facebook is open where you can just go register and get your free gift, download, and don't have to come back, or you can come back when you're free to come back, because there are no demands on you. There are no pressures on you. When I'm working with people and organizations, I make sure that at the front of the project, they know no stress. We have what project we're doing. Your life is happening. There's demands on your time from others other than your job and your choices, because we have people that love and depend on us, or we have other responsibilities, or we have other jobs. So no stress. But if you want to take this journey and join this movement of giving confidence some time, addressing the needs of the woman they see, I mean, there's so much we could share. But today I wanted to just share that you have permission to be you. I wouldn't suggest showing up at work in your pajamas, totally, if that's not your style. I wouldn't suggest showing up for work in your baseball outfit if that's not the job you're doing. And if you want to talk about um, standards of excellence for your employment environment, and you want to communicate those tips and tools to your team, or you have a dress code and you don't know how to enforce it, or you want to enforce a dress code, little things like that. What's your dress code for yourself? How do you express yourself? Last story before we go. Under the woman that they see, I was brought up not to leave our home unless we look like we cared for ourselves, right? Which meant that comb your hair. That's what my dad would say. Comb your hair. And my mom, brush your teeth, wash your face, put on clean clothes. And back in the day, there was one more thing they said you do, just in case you get in a car accident. How many know what that is? If you know what that is, put it in the comments. Yeah, them wonderful things our parents would tell us and teach us. But I grew up like that. Big wonderful family of children. Oh yeah, so we call it big wonderful family, but we know we all have family issues and things like that. But it was great. We got through with all the good, the bad, and the ugly, the like, dislike, mad, and spankings and things like that. But it was just, I treasure I treasure my journey, the good, the bad, and ugly. So as we get older, I learned that means even more. When you go out in the world, no one is going to prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemy. No one. God will. Which means your responsibility, and let me know if you agree, because I want to make sure we're encouraging one another as the woman they see, as I know my own truth, I understand my worth. You do understand those things, but what are you doing to walk in it? Okay? When you show up, it's amazing, but people will treat you like you treat yourself. So, are you raising the standards for how you treat yourself and how you show up? I love to show up like I care about everybody that's in the room and that I'm ready to work and serve any job title or responsibility that I have. That's my personality. As a strategist that came from my engineering, electronic technology career, I mean, being in the room with detailed, tech-minded people, we weren't talking about aches, pains, colds, monthly issues, or anything like that. It was, this is the situation, this is what you need to do, and this is when I need it. So, how did I show up? I showed up as me. I did the job the best to my ability, and I honored the perks of the job, but I also held my personal respect lines, my personal boundary lines, and I felt good about what I was doing. I was dressed for success and I was dressed for any issue I had to face at work. How about yourself? So remember, in the woman they see, be the woman you be inside. Be the person you be inside. Now, let's speak to our audience before I get ready to close this session with confidence, the woman they see, permission to be you. I want you to know that a lot of my clients sometimes are men in the mix of the audience. And that's quite okay. I don't mind having a mixed audience because they have people in their lives they care about. And they want to understand how to better support them or how to better work with the women they lead. Because sometimes it's one male leading them all. Or sometimes, like in my work environment, in my educational environment, is one or two women in the room and the rest. So we accept each other with respect. We accept each other with um, personal boundaries, meaning be you. I'm not going to dress like you because everybody else is dressing like that. I'm going to dress like me. I even went down to t-shirts. I like t-shirts, but I don't like them around my neck. That's how they feel. And so it's not a professional outfit for me. But when we have t-shirts that represent fun events for the job or signature events we're doing, I'm all in t-shirts. But other than that, I love to dress up best for the job or the place I'm showing up. Sometimes we change how we dress just to fit in, but you're not meant to fit in, y'all. I've heard that many times. So as we close out, I didn't go too deep into that story. I waddled around it. But in our Facebook group, this is where we'll be able to have more slice that steak into biteable pieces conversations. So this has been Mary Hasworth Fernandez, your host of Leadership Legacies and Legends Unleashed, the podcast. And we're in the middle, we're at the start of a new series called The Audacity to be Human. And the first aspect we're looking at is the woman they see. So we call that person confidence. Let's meet some more versions of you out there. Over in the Facebook group, post a picture of yourself, your confident self. It doesn't matter if you're a hard hat, metal toe boots. It doesn't matter if you are a gardener, a professional, or entrepreneur. Let's see your most confident self. Okay? If you're going walking in the gym or walking in the morning in the park, show up the way you think you should show up for you and the results you want. Remember that. Show up for you and the results you want for the room that you're in. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to read under the podcast where you'll have links and updates. I am super excited to be launching this series because we're going to go all in on encouraging the woman they see, supporting her in sharing her story, giving her a safe place to have ideas and like-minded others, and maybe even share some of our professional tips with one another. Okay? God bless. Have a wonderful day. It's been great. Nana, make sure that all the mics work, all the sound came through, and I'll see you at 8 o'clock on the next Monday. And you can find us over on YouTube at Mary Fernandez, Executive Coach, and you can find us over on Facebook. So look for the links inside the podcast description. God bless and goodbye. How is that confidence? Did you like that? Did we get everything covered? Thank you. I appreciate you being here.